Hello, and welcome back to Awakening to Your Story TV, the place to learn, get inspired, and be supported with heart centered solutions for your everyday life. I'm your host, Alicia Hartzell, and today we're going to talk about another emotional tool that I think is going to be really handy for you to have in your toolbox, right? Today we're talking about mindfulness and mental emotional time travel. That's right, time travel. We do it every day and we don't necessarily even know that we're doing it. So I want to remind you that I have all this information on the blog, which you will find in the description of this video. So you can follow along there if you're more of a visual learner. Otherwise, let's dig in. Now, mindfulness. I'm sure you've probably heard about mindfulness in the past, but let's really look at it as an emotional tool. Mindfulness is your ability to stay present in any given moment. Sounds easy, right? But it might be a little bit more challenging than you think because it is a thought by thought, moment by moment practice. Now, this allows you to be in a state of conscious awareness about yourself, your environment, and your thoughts without your past pulling at you or thoughts from the future tugging at you either, right? Mindfulness is being consciously aware and tuned in and practicing that moment by moment maintenance of your thoughts, being awake to those feelings and the environment and kind of looking at it through a gentle lens so that you nudge yourself back to this moment now, right? Now, when you use mindfulness, it helps you quiet all of the chaos that's happening outside and inside, right? So there's tons of things happening in our world all the time that we can get distracted by and to get pulled in lots of different mental directions, right? When you're mindful, what you do is you notice that chaos and then come back into your present moment, right? It kind of shuts down that external noise. And it can happen internal too, right? If you have lots of things going on and things pulling you in lots of different directions. If you practice mindfulness, it allows you to kind of pull into that center in the present moment and quiet down everything else that's going around in your mind, right? Now, when you use mindfulness in tandem with mental emotional time travel, it's a game changer, right? It actually helps you pick and choose where your thoughts go, right? Now, let me talk about mental emotional time travel on a deeper level because I think it's really going to help you as an emotional tool. Now, starting point is understanding that you are the writer, director, and main character of your story, right? You're the only one who brings it all into existence. And not only that, you are the only one who actually gets to witness your story as a whole. Your best friend cannot witness your whole story as a whole. Your partner cannot witness your whole story as your whole. Like your parents can't do it. No one else is inside your mind, witnessing your thoughts, experiencing your feelings. You're the writer, director, and main character living it all out into existence, and the only one who can watch that story as a whole picture, right? And that's valuable. That's a really powerful state of understanding to be in, right? Now, let's think of your story as a movie, right? So it's playing out as a movie. Now, your mind is a super powerful component to creating that story because where your mind goes is where you end up. Where your mind goes is actually ends up being how you feel. And you have agency over your mind as long as you're awake and paying attention, right? Now, when you're in the moment and you're mindful, you have the button pressed to play, right? So you're playing out your moment by moment story, right? But here's the thing. You can also hit the rewind button and end up traveling back into your story through experiences you've already had, right? You can also hit fast forward and travel into the future to experiences you haven't had yet, right? This is that mental, emotional time travel. Your ability to go back into the timeline of your story and your ability to jump forward into the timeline of your story, right? Now, there are lots of positives and negatives to doing both, right? And I want to walk you through those so that you really can understand the value of knowing where you are mentally on your timeline. Because sometimes we end up in negative situations, and it's simply because we've allowed ourselves to jump ahead or go back into the past without conscious awareness to help guide us into the present moment in a beneficial manner, right? Now, again, I have all this listed out on the blog, so head over there in the link below if you want to read through it more specifically. Now, I'm going to read through what I have on the blog here, so stick with me here. Okay, let's talk about rewind first. When you travel back in time, right, there are positives that can come from that. And some of those positives are allowing you to find positive cellular memories that can help you in the present moment. We talk a lot about that and some of our other emotional tools that I'll reference below. But a positive cellular memory is a memory that hits you on a cellular level. Something positive that happened in your life that really you could feel it coursing through every cell of your being, and you can hold on to that positive moment and use it when you're in a state of suffering or in a state of doubt or in a state that is not in the present moment. You can reach back into the timeline and go, oh, but I remember back when and how good that was, right? Positive cellular memory and time travel into the past that can help you in your present moment, right? Now, it can also help you build a practice of gratitude, right? When you scan through your day and you go back over your timeline and you are focused on what is right and good, and you find gratitude and ways to celebrate that in the present moment, right? Super powerful tool. Really, like, amazingly powerful tool to help you build a positive bias, right? And part of that is scanning through your past for the good. Now, you can also hit rewind to help you find an illustration for a negative thing that's happening in the moment, right? If you can go back in time, which I reference in the Knowing Your Emotional Heart tool, which I'll link below. If you go back in time and find where limiting beliefs got started, and you can use that timeline to help you illustrate the limiting belief that you picked up, then you can actually find a path back to your essential truth. And so traveling back in time in that way, with that positive lens, can actually help you reestablish some of that fundamental truth that might have been masked by that limiting belief. Again, a super positive way of using mental, emotional time travel in your favor. Now, here's some of the negative ones, right? Now, it can reestablish negative patterns of thinking from situations that you survived and can keep you in a negative loop in that cycle, right? So rewinding without a positive bias or filter, but rewinding just to revisit that suffering and reestablish the negative pattern of what happened and what you survived means that it is making your present moment tainted with that pain of survival rather than the essence that you survived, right? It can also allow for bullying language to get picked up and feel really validated in the present moment. So something you did in the past, in, further down your timeline, you can pick up and start an internal bullying dialogue about it. And it can make that inner voice sound really negative and powerful in the present moment, right? So you've time traveled into the past, picked up that negative dialogue and brought it into your present moment, right? And it can allow you to feel like there's echoes of regret and grief that you have survived something or somebody did something to you, or the sadness and devastation that you felt from the past. It pulls it right into that present moment where you are today. And it really hinders you from being in a mindful state in the present moment, right? Now let's look at fast forwarding, because that's a whole nother ball of wax, right? So here are the positives, which I actually really love, mental emotional fast forwarding in a state of positive creation, right? Because it allows you to set intention, right? It goes into the future and goes, this is what I would like, this is the intention I would like to have as an outcome, right? Non-specific, just an overall intention. No attachment to actually it being specific, but an essence of what it is you want, right? Powerful tool. Okay. It also allows you to daydream and kind of vision create. I talk about this a lot in some of my other videos, having thought parties about what it is you want to create, right? Again, not necessarily being attached to details, but allowing your mind to think about the positive, right? Through a positive lens about what is possible in the future. Uber powerful, right? And then also in your ability to co-create your reality, one of the greatest tools of forward time travel is allowing yourself to feel the feelings of having what you want, even if you don't have it in the moment, right? So allowing yourself to go there, go wherever it is that you want, whatever it is you want to create, allow yourself to feel as if you have it now in the present moment. Doing this really allows that thing to be ushered right into your experience, right? Very powerful tools that you can use for mental emotional time travel, fast forwarding, right? But there's a lot of negative ones too, so you have to be aware. Some of the negative ones are leading to this idea of catastrophizing things, right? Going to the worst possible outcome, right? Thinking into the future about all of the negative things that are happening and you have no control over them, right? And this leads to creating space for doubt and uncertainty, leading into anxiety and having a sense that you are completely out of control, right? Both of those are very tangible things that people deal with every day, right? We end up time traveling through a negative bias into the future, and it's not even necessarily real. We're thinking things that have not happened yet, and we're creating a state of suffering in those thoughts, right? That's a negative form of mental emotional time travel, right? It can also establish an echo of fear that really feeds into this sense of anxiety, right? Just a sheer sense of anxiety in the present moment, right? You're thinking so far ahead and you bring that into the present moment and then you spin, right? You emotionally spin. Time travel gone wrong, right? Now, if you're aware that you're time traveling, if you can see it as this picture of, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing, you can give it a name, you can call it out, then you start to have agency over it, right? All of this brings you into a deeper state of conscious awareness, right? It gives you a language that allows you to interact with your thoughts differently, with more power, with more agency, right? Now, here's the thing. When your mind is left on autopilot, which happens, I mean, we've got a lot of moments in the day, a lot of thoughts that are happening, and it's a practice to stay conscious and aware, right? And so if we're not staying conscious and aware moment by moment, which I understand takes work, trust me, I get it, our thoughts run on autopilot according to our negative bias, right? Our negative bias is designed to keep us safe. We're constantly scanning for the things that are wrong to keep us safe and sound. I have a video on that as well that I will reference here and put in the comments below. This negative bias, again, designed to keep us safe, however, leads into a lot of negative thinking. It takes you into the future in a negative way. It takes you into the past in a negative way, right? And it has you scanning all over. You get jerked around your timeline of your story, right? You become it's not that you become a product of that, but it feels like it's happening to you, right? Your mind just keeps going, darting back and forth, and it's not a peaceful, happy place to be. But here's the deal. Metacognition, which is working in your favor all of the time, is your ability to witness and be aware of your thoughts, right? And when you activate metacognition and you start to understand your thoughts and you start to understand where they're coming from and what you're focused on and where you are in your timeline, then it allows you the opportunity to make choices, right? Because we always have a choice. Again, we did a video last week about choice, and I will reference that here and down below. And it's also referenced in the blog as well. We have a choice when we've activated our metacognition and we are aware of our thoughts and we can become a witness to them. Then we have the power to choose where we take them, to choose where we go and how we interact with them, right? Now, none of this is a bad thing, right? If you've gone down a negative path of thinking, it's not bad. But you have the power to do something different. You have the power to come back into that state of conscious awareness and being a witness of your thoughts and then choosing something different, right? Now, here's the good news. Neuroplasticity is also working in your favor all of the time, which means that if you allow neuroplasticity means that you are allowing your experiences and actions and thoughts to make new neural pathways for you in the future, right? So the more you choose that negative thought over and over again, your neuroplasticity helps you keep easily reaching for that negative thought. But if you consciously become aware and you activate your metacognition and you wake up to your choice and you choose something different, neuroplasticity will help you make that choice a little bit easier next time. Does that make sense? Right? So the actions that you make today will help create a better state for you tomorrow, as long as you're conscious and awake and choosing from that conscious awake state, right? Now, if you have rewound and you have found yourself in a negative state and you come back to a state of understanding of where you are and you go, okay, I'm not going to let that negative thing was in the past. I'm in the present moment. Now let me see if I can find some positive thing to help me stay in that present moment. Then what you're doing is you're creating a neural pathway that will help make it easier for you to do that again next time, right? This is that mental fitness. Same with fast forwarding, right? If you feel anxious and you have that anxiety because you're projecting into the future for things that you do not know, if you make a choice to come back and be present, be mindful in this moment, and then create a positive, right? Find a way of positively scanning. Then what you've done is you've created a pathway that makes it easier for you to choose that next time. Does that make sense? Okay, now I know that you have the ability. You can do this. You can use this mindfulness and this mental, emotional time travel in your favor. If you have questions about it, put it in the comments below. I am here to support you and help you 100%. And if you have any other questions about how any of this works, I am available to you. Just reach out. I'm a comment away. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my emails, get them in your inbox every week. Like and share the video. You are doing an incredible job. If you have watched this video to this point, you are finding the truth for yourself. You are working on making your story all that it can be. And I am proud of you for that. So until next time, know that I am here holding a space of love for you, where your power over your mind and the timeline of your story, well, it's undeniable.